Hey guys, I'm Mr. Bo and welcome back to something that I did in Buried, and that is challenges. We're starting off today with the spawn room challenge. Now I'm going to tell you this now, this is actually pre-recorded. I went to theatre mode and got this because I thought let's try the spawn room challenge, not thinking that I'd get very far, and I didn't record it, so then I went back into theatre mode and recorded it because I think it was a pretty decent round for a spawn room challenge. But I hope you guys don't mind that it's pre-recorded. With the next challenges coming up, I will be sure to commentate over them like live. But that leads me on to what challenges do you want me to do? Leave them in the comments below. I remember for Buried I did like one box where I can only get one weapon out of the box. I know a lot of people suggested doing the 2 box. I did 1 box. I can do 2 box for this one. I can do 1 and 2 box if you want. I can do pistols only, snipers only, shotguns only. A challenge that I do want to do is Wonder Fizz only, so I can only get perks from the Wonder Fizz, meaning, you know, it's random which perks I get. I might get a load of good perks, might get a load of shit perks. That'd be something fun to do. Perhaps maybe I'm only allowed to turn on certain generators, I don't know. But definitely give me your ideas for challenges and I'll take the best ones and I will do them. And if you were the person who suggested that challenge, then I will be sure to give you a shout out. But moving on to this gameplay, it's as I said, a spawn room challenge. Not allowed to open any of the doors. I do buy quick revive and I use the M14 and the ballista. Pretty hard challenge once you get going, but it's a pretty fun challenge as well. But what I thought I'd do is I'd talk about what I think of the map Origins in this, whilst you're watching the gameplay, and I'll commentate a bit about the gameplay as well. But what I thought about Origins and what I think they could have done better, what I think they did really good, what I would not want to see that they did in this map again in the future, and comparing this to the other maps that we've seen in Black Ops 2 and all the other Nazi zombies. So what do I think of this map? It's definitely the best map in Black Ops 2. It's probably one of the best maps I think that they've made. I still have my favourites from Black Ops 1, Ascension, Call of the Dead and Shangri-La. Those 3 were really cool. And Doris, not Die-Rise. Die-Rise is probably the worst map, I think. But Doris, that's a decent map. I do like 5, and not a lot of people like 5, but I like it for the lift mechanic and the whole 3-layered system. It's a really cool map. But Origins, there are things that I do like, and there's things that I don't like. And we're going to talk about the map design to begin with, because some things with the map design they did pretty spot on, and I think it was pretty cool, and some things they could have maybe worked on. And like, you start in this spawn room, you have 2 options, 2 like places to go. You can go left or right to Generator 3 or to Generator 2. I like that, giving you choice. It'd have been cool if they did something like Verrückt, where perhaps you start in different trenches to other players on your team. I'd really like to see a zombies map where all players are split up at the beginning. That would actually make it a little bit harder, and you'd be able to see who's able to survive on like round 3, up to round 3, or you know. But with the Origins, you get to go up to Generator 3 and Generator 2, and then you can eventually make your way up to No Man's Land. I love No Man's Land. That area is really good. It's good for training. It's got Juggernaut, Stamina up. It's got the Pack-a-Punch in the middle. And then you've got the church beyond that, and that's a great place to go. But once you get to No Man's Land, I don't really see any point in going back to the spawn room starting area or to Generator 2 or 3, because you're going to get trapped if you go down there, and it's not a good place to go. So I feel like this map has only sort of got one place to go, and I find all my time spent in No Man's Land. It is a big area, but I feel like with Buried, I could go perhaps into the maze, I could go next to the courtyard, I could go outside the prison, by the bank, you know. I wouldn't mind where I was going, because I could train pretty easily wherever. With Origins, I feel like everyone's just like, let's go to No Man's Land, let's just run around No Man's Land. We'll go to the spawn room area, or we'll go to the church area just in case the box is there, or maybe the generator gets turned off. I don't really see any point in going to those areas unless you're doing perhaps the Easter egg. So that's the complaint about this map, that you get forced into No Man's Land, and you don't really need to go to the other areas that much. But another thing that I don't like is the tank. yes, the tank is a whole lot better than the bus, just because you don't have the stupid glitching through the bus, you don't have the doors. It's a lot easier to use, and it doesn't go all around the map. You don't have to get it to go to the next areas. It's a good improvement on the bus. However, I think this map would have been better, and they could have added more in if they'd have just got rid of the tank. I don't see any use for like going on it for rounds, because zombies just flood straight onto it, and it's pretty hard to defend. The bus was a whole lot easier to defend, in my opinion. And the only reasons I usually get on the tank is perhaps if I want to buy the build the lightning staff, or the robot zombie has spawned in the map and I want to glitch him out. That is the only reason. Because if that robot zombie spawns on the map, I go straight to the tank just so I can glitch him out, and I don't have to worry about him, because he is the main result of me going down in maps. And I like that he is, he's a challenge. The only way to kill him, is to shoot him in his face, and it takes a while. Obviously you can shoot him in his hand, and he grabs you in and he flamethrowers you, and he kind of gets you down whether or not you got Juggernog on. If you can't shoot his arm by the time he's pulled you in, you're pretty much going down. And I like that. It's a great improvement on like the Warden that they had. Definitely brings him more of a challenge, and a lot of people don't like him. I don't like him so much, but it brings sort of a fear when he joins the map. You're like, uh-oh, we've got to deal with this guy and take him out quickly, otherwise we're going to go down. I think that's a great thing to add to these maps, some difficulty, because after 5 the maps kind of were a little bit easier. 5 was probably the last hardest map, in terms of like, if you go down to the bottom level, they're coming at you from all areas, and it's pretty hard to train down there in the bottom areas. I mean, some people might find 5 really easy. I found it a challenging map, and that's probably why it's one of my favourite maps. But in terms of the gameplay, as I said, No Man's Land is where I think it kind of draws you to, and you don't really get out of No Man's Land, if you kind of get what I mean. But other things I do like about this map is the look. It has that World at War look, the World War 1 and World War 2 looks that I liked from World at War and Black Ops. Well, Black Ops 1 didn't really have it, but Kino was kind of had the same sort of feeling as Derice and Vurukt and Shino and Nacht. I really like that about the map. I hope they sort of bring this back in the next game. It doesn't have to be World War settings, as long as it has this sort of dark and grungy feeling, kind of like Mob of the Dead. And the campaign team really proved themselves with this map. They'd done it already with Mob of the Dead, but they did it again with this map. And the Zombies team really needs to pull their game up, because Transit and Die Rise were just terrible. Moon, that was a decent map that the Zombie team made, so I'll give them that, but they need to come up with some fresh new ideas for the next game. Moving on to other things that I hope they don't bring into other maps, things like the generators. It's a cool idea not having a power switch, and I like that you have to turn on certain bits of power for different bits of the map, but after a while you're on high rounds, and then a generator goes off and you're like, oh, I've got to go and worry about that now. And I don't mind having to worry about that. It's just the Templar dudes, they go around and they turn all the generators off, and if you don't kill them, then all the generators will be off. That's a bit annoying. If it was just like one generator went off for 1 round, or maybe even 2, I wouldn't mind, but it's just the fact that you've got to go and kill these guys before they go and turn off all the generators. That's a bit annoying. I like the whole giant robot thing on the map. It can crush you and you get inside it. I like that. I was a bit disappointed that you couldn't get into the blimp at all. I know a lot of people were speculating that maybe the Pack-a-Punch or something was up there. It would have been cool to get up there. And speaking of the Pack-a-Punch, it's a little bit easy to get to. It'd have been cool if they'd have put the Pack-a-Punch in, say, the middle robot. That would have been something cool. Or they'd have put different types of Pack-a-Punches in each of the robots' heads. Maybe, like, if you wanted a certain upgrade on your gun, you went to the middle robot. If you wanted a certain upgrade, you went to the left robot. That would have been a little bit cooler, and they'd have made it, like, I don't know, a little bit harder to get into the robots. That would have been cool. But overall, I think this map is great. definitely the best in Black Ops 2, as I said, and it's good for doing. It's a challenge. That's what this map is. It's a challenge, and it definitely is dying rounds just because the trenches are so tight and compact, and you can't really train much. Though you can train it in the spawn room, as you can see I'm doing here. I went down, so I got and got quick revive again, and I'm sort of just training around. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard once that if you wiggle, it throws off the zombies' AI, so they don't actually know sort of where you are, meaning they are less likely to hit you. I don't know if that's true or not. It seems to work when I sort of wiggle around them, but that might not be true. If you know anything about that, definitely let me know. But I will have lots more Origins content coming out. My live stream, that was amazing. I think it's just hit 50,000 video views. I've gained about 500, 600 subs since last Tuesday, so it's amazing to all you guys who have joined. I'll be bringing out challenges for Origins and perhaps some high rounds, and I'll have definitely some more live streams coming up this week and over the next few weeks with perhaps more open lobbies. I know I've been getting a lot of invites to play Origins, and when you send me invites, I'm either recording stuff, I'm just taking a break and having, trying to get some high rounds or having some fun playing this map. One thing again I'm disappointed with, and that is the Easter egg. Not so much the final cutscene. The final cutscene was the best ending I could have hoped for. I actually managed to I kind of called this ending like a few weeks ago. I was talking to someone, I was saying, remember those toy figures in Kino? Perhaps that is why we are playing as our characters now. And you remember the Juggernog bottles on the floor? And he was like, yeah. I was like, maybe that's the only way we can think of how the perks were made, just because they were on the floor. So I kind of guessed it, but I didn't think that would come true. So it was really cool to see Samantha and Eddie in that trailer. And as Samantha says halfway through the Easter egg, this is the end of the beginning and the beginning of the end. So this is the end of the first sort of chapter, if you would, and we are moving on to the start of the end of the story. Maxis has a plan, as Samantha said, and they will make it all okay. So I can't wait for the next game, because the story seems like it's just getting good. And I know a lot of people say they were disappointed by it, but I think it was the best sort of outcome and ending they could have done. I'd like to know those people who were disappointed with it, what kind of ending they would have rather have had. But there's still a lot of questions we don't know, and a lot of answers, a lot of questions we want to ask, and a lot of answers that we're not getting. So hopefully they can deliver that in about a year and a half when the next Call of Duty game comes out. Feel free to leave your challenges down below, as I said. The more the merrier, and the more I can go through. I'll be covering Origins for about another 3 or 4 weeks with the challenges, hopefully, as I said, doing live streams and open lobbies. And hopefully the guys who have joined us in the last week like my content, and if you do, feel free to give this video a like. Comment letting me know what kind of challenges you want. If you tried the spawn room challenge, let me know what your highest round is, see if you can beat mine. And subscribe if you're not already for lots more Origins, zombies. I'll be covering more zombie games in the future. However, I'm not just dedicated to zombies, so we're going to be getting some variety in games. Hope you've enjoyed this challenge. I definitely did, and I will see you next time. Bye.